Welcome to episode 139 of the Guardian 1 podcast. We record live Thursdays at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/Guardian 1 Network. My name is Remy, and tonight I'm joined by Jez.
Good morning.
Agrios.
Greetings, Guardians.
Sharks.
Less than 12 days.
And Gray.
Good evening, everybody.
We are going to be talking about all things Destiny, but first, housekeeping.
Hello, Guardians. Thank you for listening to the podcast, however it is that you are choosing to listen. Be sure to follow Guardian 1 on Twitter at G1net. That's G1NET. In addition, be sure to check out the Guardian 1 website at guardian1.net. If you want to send us an email, you can send it to feedback@guardian1.net. We also have a Budgie.net forums group. We utilize the forums for both comments and feedback, so be sure to join the conversations going on there. Big thank you to all those currently in the Twitch chat. As Remy said at the top of the podcast, you can watch the show live at twitch.tv/Guardian1 Network. We broadcast every Thursday at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. If you can't catch the live show, you can always find the podcast on iTunes, as well as upload it to the Guardian 1 YouTube channel at youtube.com/Guardian1 Network. Guardian 1 is a proud member of the Guardian Radio Network, so be sure to check out the Guardian Radio Network website at theguardiansofdestiny.com. There you'll find all of the different podcasts as part of the network, including the flagship podcast Guardian Radio. They broadcast every Monday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific on twitch.tv/Guardian Radio. You can also follow their Twitter account at Guardians of D and their YouTube channel, youtube.com/Guardians of D. Other podcasts that are part of the Guardian Radio Network include Ghosts and Echoes, a podcast that contains a bit of fan fiction and audio versions of the Grimoire cards, as well as the Destiny lore-focused podcast called Focus Fire Chat. Once again, thanks for joining us on the podcast. I'll see you again next week.
Alrighty, thank you very much, Hollow River. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about today is that update. I'm still broken ribs bad, but I'm able to breathe, and so we got to do this podcast. There's so much going on. It's exciting times. But what's really crazy is that this sickness, whatever it is, has been keeping me from enjoying video games. I can't play anything without feeling some sort of disconnect in my body and my brain, and it's triggering some kind of, like, not necessarily like a motion sickness, but there's something wrong, and I can only play for a certain amount of time before I just lose all interest in it physically. But on top of that, on top of this anomaly, I am like sick to death of Destiny. I'm like burnt so hard on Destiny, and I haven't even played really in the last month and a half, and I still have so much left to do before the switchover. You know, however many grimoire you have or whatever's carrying over with you, you know, and I haven't gotten my shirt. I haven't completed the shirt. I haven't completed the books, and so I want to do it. Like in my insides, I think, oh, you know, I have a ton of stuff to do in Destiny. I'm going to do it. But then I sit down, and not only do I physically feel ill, but on top of that, I just want to play something else. And even when I do play something else, I can't. Like Horizon, I played a little bit of Horizon Zero Dawn, and it was awesome. Still very, pardon me, still very beautiful game. It still feels really incredible, and still I have plenty to do, but I don't know. I don't know what it is, and it's really bothering me. But I'm just sick to death of Destiny. Gray, where are you in your relationship with Destiny? Like, are you sick of it? Like, I know that you haven't played as much or for as a longer time, but I feel like you've done everything. You're done with your book. You've already got all this other stuff going on. Like, do you play Destiny, and is it an enjoyable experience for you?
Yeah, you know, I played Destiny in the traditional sense over the last couple weeks. I've been in Destiny a lot, but it's more because I've been taking a lot of time trying to capture some different footage from the in-game engine, and then run it through some different filters for a project that I'm working on. So I've actually spent quite a bit of time in the Destiny world, and I'd say, as I took some time away before that, so prior to a couple weeks ago, I hadn't been playing Destiny very much at all. So to go back into that world and experience really the beauty of what they built 3 years ago, that's what blows my mind. As I continue to go around and shoot different scenes and look at different things that are in this engine, I'm kind of glad that I'm doing it right now, because we're coming up really close on being able to do the beta and experience what this new engine is going to be like. And I think I'm going to have an interesting perspective on really analyzing what the beauty in the engine is. Destiny 1, 3 years old, 4 years old. And my expectations are super high going into the beta that this new engine is really going to blow me away. So it's been enjoyable, but I can't say that. I think Mark and I, we did some custom PvP with some friends, which was a lot of fun. I still will enjoy that. And anytime, people come up with some zany custom PvP challenges, that would be, I'm totally game for. We did one round that was elimination, no revives, no heavy spawn armor, and you could only use your swords. So that means you can only use the hilt of your sword because there's no heavy that spawns. And to do 4v4 elimination, no revives, and all you can use is the hilt of your swords was a blast. So things like that I've been doing. I've been enjoying it, and maybe we'll get to share some of that too on some future projects. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing in the game.
Got it. I think that whenever you have a narrated experience like that, like a very specific with friends challenge, that makes a whole lot of difference in what it is that you're doing. So it's not like you're just jumping into a strike and doing the same old strike. It's not even like you're using the same rules. You've modified the rules. So that does sound like a lot of fun, and it sounds like a way to keep from totally burning out on it.
Yeah, to that point, so I ran a strike last night, and it wasn't that fun. It was like, man, just running a strike did not capture any sense of accomplishment, enjoyment, wonder. It felt a little bit like work, really, going through that strike. So other things, more creative things in the game, I'm certainly enjoying, but the standard of what Destiny is, the rituals that we go through each week, I definitely feel the burnout right now.
So what I've been doing, all I've really been able to do is to choke down the 3 activities that are going to get me those boxes on each system. So I play, two rounds of PvP, 2 stories, and 2 strikes every week, so I can get those boxes. This is about the limit of what I'm able to do, and usually I'll break it down over 2 days so that I don't have to do them both on one day. But I definitely agree with you as far as having stepped away from Destiny and then coming back in with the freshest eyes I've had in years on Destiny. I too feel the same way as far as this is amazing. Like, what they've put together is beautiful, and it's fantastic, especially when I look at other games too. Like, I will think this game is really beautiful, and I'll go back to what Destiny is, what Destiny was, and it's really great. And so I'm excited about what this next engine brings me as well. Let's see. What about you, Sharks? Where are you in playing Destiny? You have more hours than any of us, and I've seen you tweeting about playing other things, but how much Destiny do you play, and how close from just burning the disc are you?
No, I won't burn the disc. I'll put it up on my wall eventually.
I like that.
I haven't played Destiny really for, I don't know, 2 months. Like, not really. I do the same thing you do. I do the boxes, and that's about it. And then I go and play something else. I will be playing it a little bit more very soon because my brother's picking it up. He got a PS4. So that would be something new to kind of do with somebody that hasn't gone and done it. But I mean, other than that, I mean, especially after playing Destiny 2, nah, not really.
That actually sounds like a lot of fun. The idea of walking someone who has no idea what it is through, because many of these locations, like the back of your hand. And so the idea of trying to explain the system seems really exciting to me. Answering questions. I feel like I've worked at the factory, the Destiny factory, for so long that I could answer anyone's question about anything, basically without without batting an eye. And so that seems like that would be a really fun thing to do. And another another skew, a different take on playing Destiny. What else are you playing right now?
Elite Dangerous is the one I've been playing. I mean,
Take
I have
on
other
playing
games.
Destiny. What else are you playing right now?
That was weird. But no, I'm playing Elite Dangerous, and I still haven't finished like Horizon Zero Dawn, and I actually I have some other games that I haven't even broken into yet, but I downloaded last month's PlayStation Plus game, and I played the first season, I guess they call it, or first show of that. That was kind of cool. Really playing different types of games than I have been, so that when Destiny 2 drops, it's gonna be totally fresh. So
I like that a lot. I think that's really important. And if I didn't have so much left to do in my books, I would definitely be. I think I would just be letting myself rest from video games altogether. Although with how little I've played, I've noticed my hands starting to cramp up a little bit when I do get going. So I definitely need to stretch or work out, however those things happen. But yeah, I think that playing different kinds of games is really cool. You're basically, catching up on the last 3 years of video games. At some point, there wasn't a Destiny, and you played everything was not Destiny. And now, I know that you've many occasions, put on blinders and said Destiny. Like you've seen other people. I'm trying to talk to you about Horizon Zero Dawn, and you're like Destiny.
yeah.
And so it's nice for you to have a chance to step out of that and check out other things, because other games really are cool. I was like a super gamer before Destiny came along. You just played everything. I would play anything, any game whatsoever.
And I have to say to the four guys here on this show, you guys are right. Playing other games is fun, really is. I didn't believe you for the longest time, but it's true.
Sorry about that. It is. Other games are fun, and not every game has to be, this perfectly sculpted in marble experience. Some of the more throwaway games are interesting as well. Like I really enjoy playing Tennis in the Face. Tennis in the Face is like a $5 game, and it's basically just you shoot this tennis ball, and in the physics of the ball bouncing around this court, you have to knock people down. It's a lot of fun. It's a very small game. It's a very it's a good time. It's a mindless good time. But at the same time, you can take it and play it just a little bit better. Like you could actually put in time. So, Elite Dangerous. I did try Elite Dangerous, and it seemed like a lot of fun, but at the same time, it seemed like something that you could really just. I feel like it was what we expected Destiny to be in its breadth. Like there was so much there. Like just piloting the ships there's just so much there. Like there's so much to chew on, so much to learn, and so much to do. So I'm trying to steer away from games like that, especially because Destiny 2 is looking like it's pointing in the direction of a much more casual game. So I don't want to get into something that's really in depth and really will appreciate my time and respect the time I want to put into it by giving back a really amazing experience, which is what that looks like. All right, Agrios, what about you? Where are you in your playing Destiny realm? Have you done everything that you want to do, and are you playing other video games, or are you just done with it?
I'm not done with it at all. In fact, I would like to play a lot more of it. I haven't had time to play near enough games, period, lately, and I'm not at all burnt on Destiny. I have a desire to play it, but I just coordinating time to do it. A lot of the things that I want to do, I need to coordinate with other people to do. And I just haven't had that much time to game as it was, so that on top of things. That said, I do have interest in getting caught up in a lot of other backlog while I do have time. So it's going to be, scheduling Destiny in along with, everything else. I got Elite Dangerous, like Sharks there, and I have quite a backlog to work through.
Besides Elite Dangerous, what else off the top of your head are you looking at?
Well, the Battlefield and Battlefront and Titanfall 2 and Ark and all kinds of games, like a whole pile of them, a whole ton of VR stuff, all in a stack to dig through.
Very cool. Very cool. Whoa. Okay. Jez, what about you? Where are you in your Destiny playing experience? I feel like basically over a year ago, you were, quote unquote, done playing Destiny because you had already finished everything. And I feel like you almost stick around on the show just to kind of see what the lame kids are doing. oh, you guys are still playing Destiny?
It's an interesting thing because I have not finished my book. I'm still not doing that. Still not done it, I should say. And I'm not sure how much I want to.
Yeah.
It's just, I got what I wanted at Destiny. I'm good. Like, in my mind, content droughts are meant to be times that you go play something else and not burn yourself out more on a game.
Yeah, I think that you have a really good handle on that, Jez. I feel like you're very in tune with what it is that you want, and you're not afraid to hurt Destiny's feelings to go do what you need to do, and I think that that's really important.
See, the thing is, I think it's in their philosophy that they want people to play other games. They
Absolutely.
don't want people to obsess over this one game and hate it. They don't want people to hate their time. They want this to be a vacation, not a job.
Right? No, totally. And that was their one mistake. if I'm being honest, that was their one mistake, was thinking, oh, well, you know what? We'll just give these people this much and then they can go, have a life or have a job or play other video games. And that was not in the stars. That was not written in the stars. Like I think that's what they're changing also very big about Destiny 2 is the fact that people do want to play this game a lot. But I think you're totally right. It made sense once the initial set of letdowns happened. It made sense, of course, these people that make this game, they want to play it too, but they have a ton of stuff to do. So it's not, they can't just put in, endless amounts of content, or else they're never going to catch up on their own game or the other games that they want to play. So that makes a lot of sense. You're totally right. Baked right in. What else are you playing right now?
It's horrible because I go from one time-sucking game to another because now I've put probably, I want to say, 2 or 3 days worth of time onto World of Warcraft in the past 2 weeks. Because
like 48 hours, like a chunk of 48 hours is what you're talking about.
Like 48 hours in that short amount of time. Actually, it's probably even more than that. I think that was just how much time it took for me to level to 110. But yeah.
Was it fun? What did you do there?
Well, it's just leveling, like in the game. And then once you hit max level, the grind for gear, like Destiny has nothing on World of Warcraft. Like the amount of points that you go up every week in your like weekly lockouts just go smaller and smaller every week. So you're going up by like 2 points a week, and yeah, it's a grind.
That's interesting. I would, you know what? I would really love to sit down and play it.
The thing is, though, it also has so many other things that you can do to distract yourself from that grind. Like, you can, well, it's an entirely different grind. Like, my rogue, I had to run one dungeon on the lowest setting possible, so it's the fastest that you could play it, to get this, like, 0.1% drop. Well, it's probably closer to 5% drop. And it's just so mind-numbing, but at the same time, when you get it, it's finally good. Because you know what you're going after.
Very interesting. Okay, great. I don't think that I asked you what you're playing right now. What is it that you're playing right now that's not Destiny? Maybe you said it, and maybe I just forgot.
No, that's so nothing. Unfortunately, that's the only game that I've picked up. There's lots of games I've thought about. I've thought a lot about Horizon Zero Dawn because I'm very early into that game. So that's probably going to be the next one that I'll, bridge my time that is available. But I actually haven't been doing much video games, unfortunately. I've been kind of busy with a few other things and just life in general. But so Horizon Zero Dawn, I still have Breath of the Wild that I need to play. So those are probably the two that I need to check off before I start buying and investing in more video games. So I'm kind of holding off. Destiny 2, obviously, I'll jump in head first. But outside of that, I'm kind of waiting till I finish a little bit of my backlog before I buy new games.
Interesting. Well, I can tell you that Horizon Zero Dawn is so worth your time. Like I love everything about it. Everything about it is so well done, all the way down to even the economy. What you use for trading for goods and what you use for creating your own arrows. Just right out there on the field. Like it's a very exciting game. It's a very well done game. It's one of those games where I just really feel like it's a Zelda. I feel like it is going to be looked at 15 years from now as just a classic. Like it's going to be what takes the next level of video game makers. They're going to have played this game, and it's going to be one of the games that they cite as the reason that they wanted to make games. And it's not like it's doing anything necessarily brand new, or that it's, so thinking outside the box that it's like Minecraft or something. But I feel like what it does is it grabs so many different aspects of so many different games and smushes them together in such a way as to create just a masterpiece. Everything is so well thought out, and the game feels amazing. Like the graphics are incredible. There's a photo mode where you can just hit the start button. It will pause the game. You go down to select photo mode, and then you can just circle your character, move the camera around, change the tilt, change the pitch. Like the whole thing is so amazing. The whole thing is so amazing, and it's, I don't know. I love photo mode for some reason.
And that came out in like a later patch, right? Like that wasn't native when the game launched. So I haven't played it since that patch came out that unlocked the photo mode.
Yeah, I must not have bought it until after they introduced the photo mode, because it's always been there as far as I've seen. But I think I did start playing later. And then what was the other?
Later.
Okay, yeah. So I bought it right around the time photo mode was added then, because it is amazing, and the game is so beautiful. Like it's a game like this that makes me think, what is Destiny going to be? What are we going to see in Destiny? Because I don't want to say Guerrilla is not Bungie, but Guerrilla is not Bungie. Like I don't want to take away from their achievement, but at the same time there is absolutely. There's absolutely something magical there. What was the other game that you said that you were playing or thinking about playing?
Oh, well, just Breath of the Wild.
Oh man,
Breath of the Wild.
That. I am having such a difficult time getting into that. It's nice because I'm playing it on the Wii U, and I'm playing it on just the handheld, and that seems to give me a bit more time as far as video game playtime is concerned. I don't feel as out of breath before I'm done playing that. But what I'm having a really hard time with right now is the fact that every weapon you have breaks. Like I feel like I'm not getting anywhere, because every 3 or 4 bad guys I kill, I have to go find a new weapon, and I just feel like I'm not getting anywhere, and I feel like I'm not interested in getting anywhere because this game isn't letting me. There is no permanency here. I finally just got it. It was not ugly looking, and then my sword breaks, and then what do? I had a sweet sword, and now I have a stick or I have a twig or something. So it's really difficult. I'm certain that at some point, weapons will last longer, or there'll be a way to fix them before they're broken, or I don't know. But I just can't get into it. I can't get past that.
Yeah, I tell you, there's no way to fix them. It's more about expanding how many you can hold, and then just picking up everything that suits your fancy.
Yeah, managing resources. I managed where I kind of hit
which one you use.
Where I kind of hit a wall. I had I'd traveled to a shrine that I probably shouldn't have gotten to, and if I try to do damage to complete the little puzzle in the shrine, I will go through all of my weapons. It will be destroyed. I can maneuver and stay alive, but I cannot do enough DPS with the weapons that I have. And I really don't want to travel away from that shrine because it took me so long to get there. And I'm realizing I should never have gone there in the first place.
I feel sort of the same way. Like I just kept hearing people talk about, well, just pick a direction and walk there, and it'll be an exciting adventure. Yeah, except for what about all of the enemies are over my head now, and I've broke all my weapons on them, and now I don't even know where to go back. I don't know where the start was. I don't even know.
I don't think the only time that you're in a place over your head, obviously if something is really tall, it's really strong, but also in dungeons sometimes it'll say hard, very hard, like for the challenge for test of combat.
Oh, okay.
That's when you're screwed, but unless you have good enough weapons. But you can complete those with a stick.
Yeah.
It just takes forever.
Interesting. I haven't totally lost interest yet, but every time I pick it up, I end up just putting it down and just thinking, what am I doing with my time? I need to go do something else because this game doesn't respect me. Not even a little bit. Okay, so why don't we get to some Destiny news? Speaking of Destiny news, exciting announcement this week. Our very own Gray, Unilala, and Mark Square will be doing a show called Grenades and Horseshoes on the Planet Destiny channel. Gray, would you tell us what this is, when it is, what to expect, and any other pertinent details?
Yeah, well, since it involves Mark Squared, I'm sure that you guys know that it's going to be pretty silly. We're setting it up. It's going to be a Twitch series. So these are going to be episodes, and it's going to be kind of like a variety show. So we have a number of different segments that we're going to pull into each episode. It's going to cover really, we've got a number of really great ideas, but it's not really locked down to be any one thing. It's going to be kind of like a morning zoo type radio show format, even though it's going to be live video, all this stuff. But it's also going to be tying in, like how a late night TV show might have different segments that they do, stupid human tricks kind of thing. Now ours won't be stupid human tricks. We might have stupid guardian tricks, who knows. But so we'll have these different segments. We've been working really hard on the mix, the editing, the scenes, and it's coming out really cool. It's one of those things that obviously Mark is a very talented artist, very creative individual. Putting that together with some of the different technical things that I wasn't even sure we could pull off in a live show. I've impressed myself more than once with some of the different things that we've been able to manipulate technology and his art to create an experience for our viewers that is going to be like nothing else that's out there today. And that was our goal when we set out to make this new project, is where can we find something in the Destiny community creation space that isn't being done, that's going to be unique and that people are going to want to watch? And I think that we've certainly hit all those boxes. So we're going to be doing it Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. On the Planet Destiny channel. So certainly come out and watch that there.
Excellent. It sounds really cool. Now, are you talking about something in the vein of like a Kids in the Hall or a Monty Python? Because you did say Mark Square was involved, and I could definitely see it leaning Kids in the Hall, Monty Python, or is it a little bit more of a straight man?
No. It's going to be, so it's not improv, and it certainly isn't hard set comedy, but I think that when we get together and we're joking around, it'll be enjoyable just to watch three people who are fun to see joking about certain situations or certain aspects of the game. So it's going to be comedic, but they're not going to necessarily be they're not scripted sketches. It's more of a framework with a predefined segment. And each show is going to have a number of those with kind of a very general story arc that's going to carry us through various seasons of the show. So I don't want to give up, too much, but we're going to have some promos going on that'll probably give a good idea of what these segments are going to look like. But from a content standpoint, there's a lot of different aspects that we're pulling in for these segments. But the way that I've kind of explained it also is, what if our Guardians were going to periscope or live stream their lives in the game? what sort of things would they be talking about if they could access different parts of the Destiny community from their own perspective. So that's one of the threads that's kind of tying into this show, as our Guardians are experiencing what life is like to be a Guardian, and then what things are going on in the Destiny universe that they want to talk about.
Excellent. I'm glad that I had you explain that a little bit further, because that sounds really cool. Additionally, I'm really excited to see what it is that has you so tickled about your own abilities, because I know that feeling. If you go watch any of the Dear Bungie videos that I did, I feel like some of the graphic, there's one where I tried to explain that we were going to be able to change the sights on our weapons, and then so like I took several aspects of the weapon and I photoshopped them out of one layer and moved them into another layer and then animated them, and I was like, this is awesome. I am awesome.
I remember that video. Yeah, you exploded out the guns and you moved different parts to different guns.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, so I know what you're talking about when you say, man, I did a good job here. And so I'm excited to see what that means to you. Excellent. Well, great. Does anyone here have any questions for our very own rock star, Grey Ghost, about his new endeavor on Planet Destiny? And I want to say right now, Grey, you better not forget about me when you're all big and huge in this Destiny community, and you're like some kind of working at Bungie, and you're like, Guardian 1, that sounds familiar.
Oh gosh, no, not even close to the case. And the biggest thing, we actually got Yuna and Mark in the chat, which is excellent. We just hope that people like it. We're doing it because it's a fun project, something we enjoy, and I hope that people watch it and they derive some joy, especially maybe like right now where our feeling towards the game is a little bit, I would say probably most people are a little tired of Destiny, maybe even borderline frustrated with the experience, and we can get into some of the things that are going on in the game right now. This, I'm hoping, because it's more about enjoying the people and the world of Destiny, will kind of shift that mindset. It isn't so much, right, we're not really talking about what's the best weapon rolls, what is going on in PvP, what's going on in Iron Banner. It's not so specific as to the type of content that a lot of other shows talk about, but it's about just enjoying the world that was created by Bungie, and what different things we can do to play in that world and share that with the community.
It's really cool that you're tapping into stuff that like nobody's doing. The idea that you could draw a circle around what the community is doing, and it is true. There is a cutoff to what's happening, and there's a huge amount of stuff that the community is not doing. Like, I have so many ideas rolling around in my head of things that I would love to do that no one is doing, but it's just, it's time consuming. Like you're saying, you haven't even been playing any video games because you've been putting so much time into it. And so then I think about all of these other content creators, like Bife and his ongoing lore series. Like he's constantly making videos. Like, when the hell does he ever play? Especially when he was still in university. Like, how did he make all these videos and go to university and still play the game? So great. Well, we wish you all the best, and I'm excited to see it. I think that it's going to be fantastic. I have a feeling it's going to be fantastic.
Thanks, man.
Okay. What was it? I think that you hit on something else that was something about playing. I forgot, and I didn't write it down, so never mind. Great. Well, then let's move on with the news of the day. Agrios, do you have the news of the day?
Almost went ahead without unmuting, but I caught myself at the last second there. So there was no show last week. So to cover some of the news of last week, there was an update on how clans were going to operate going forward into Destiny 2. It was revealed that you were going to have to upgrade your Destiny 1 clan to a Destiny 2 clan at some point starting after July 25th. Now, I'm certain that Guardian 1 is going to progress forward at that point, but are we going to create a Guardian left behind, Remy?
You know what? That's a great question. I have so many questions about this whole situation. The information that they gave us seemed incomplete, or
it was vague.
it seemed very vague to me, and so yeah, definitely the day that we're able to move into a Destiny 2 clan, like let's do that. But then again, is that the best thing to do? I mean, what happens when we do that? Are we no longer in a Destiny 1 clan as well? Like when we play Destiny 1,
I
we
believe
have
That's my impression.
I believe you just log in, you'll have a blank nameplate unless we create like a Guardian Left Behind clan. Now, I don't think necessarily, now this is something we haven't really discussed yet. This is just us throwing this out here initially, but I mean, I don't see the hurry in actually flipping the switch on July 25th. I mean, we just have to do it before launch, right?
I think so. I think
you know
so.
what I mean? So,
Yeah.
so if people aren't done doing stuff in Destiny 1, maybe we should, hold off on flipping that switch so quickly.
That is exactly a question that I had coming into this episode. Like if there is no reason to flip the switch, then why would we?
So, and like you said, it seems vague, but like we also said, just seems vague. I mean, they may have given us just all the information, and just what they said is exactly what it is. You flip to a Destiny 2 clan, and there's just nothing there for Destiny 1 anymore. And if you want there to be, you just have to create one.
I feel like it makes sense to wait. I think that I would definitely I still have a lot to do, and I know other people in the clan still have stuff to do, and I don't know. It makes sense to hold off, but I'll tell you what will happen on that July 25th. If that's the date, someone's going to go to the internet with "I've flipped my clan and now it's gone," and so I'm excited.
Yeah, I don't want to be the first one to flip my switch. Yeah, that's for sure.
Exactly. But I mean, if they're going to give us some other like extra tools, or, if you flip it on this day, you get everyone in your clan gets a, a certain emblem or something, like we'll find out what's happening on that day.
Now, they did make it clear in this week's weekly update that we should not expect clan support for the beta. They say it's true that clans will be supported in Destiny 2, but those features are not a part of this test. And, I mean, being that the upgrade doesn't happen till the 25th, that doesn't really apply to the beta anyhow, but our pre-existing clans won't apply to the beta, at the very least.
Yeah. So, I don't know. We'll figure that out. Hold on one second, Agrios. I forgot that I asked to go around the table with questions for Gray, because then I asked him another question, and really I just like hearing myself talk. So, Sharks, you have a question for Gray Ghost about his new show on Planet Destiny called Grenades and Horseshoes. What is it?
I wasn't meaning to go and change everything, but I was curious because you did say go around. How long
I'm
is
an
your
idiot.
show? How long? No, that's right. Well, you have lots on your mind. We have weeks to catch up on. But my big question is how long is your show going to be each week? Because I mean, we sit here and we blab for hours and hours and hours on end. And I'm just curious, how long are you going to do like short shows, medium shows? What's the thought process?
Yeah, so we were allocated a block of time, which is going to be both the episode that involves the Grenades and Horseshoes series, and then a part of the block of time will be allocated to some after show components too. And we haven't really set the divider. Some of that's because we're still editing down. It's going to be consumable, so short to medium, but the block itself is going to be pretty long. But for the focused, really, the content that is, let's say, the variety show type content that's been predefined for the show each episode, that's going to be the shorter part of that time block, with then an extended time period for what we do for essentially like an after show time. But we don't have really a set amount quite decided yet. We'll probably know a little bit more after some of the first rough editing cuts kind of come off the floor, and then determine, and we'll see. But we definitely want it to feel like you're watching an episode of a show, a series essentially. So it's certainly not going to be like a 2-hour episode each week. It's going to be shorter than that, with then for people who want to hang on and enjoy some more content with either 1, 2, or all 3 of us, there'll be those after show components as well.
That's really cool. Sharks, do you have anything else?
No, that was my main one. You know, obviously Gray doesn't want to let too much slip, which I appreciate. You know, we sit here and we watch Bungie give out lots of information sometimes and always complain about it. So I like, you know, just enough to entice, and I think Gray's doing a good job with that. So,
and apparently Mark is telling me 30 minutes. So that's what we got, 30 minutes. So yeah, it'll be like a, you know, I think that we've got some leeway there because they're giving us more of a longer block than that. It's just how we want to divide it. So each episode will be definitely close, and that'll feel like, you know, at 30 minutes it'll feel like you're watching an episode of a show, and it'll have a very different feel, I think, than like watching or listening to a podcast, which is usually a lot longer than that.
Yeah, I have so many more questions, Sharks, but you're right. I do appreciate some kind of, you know, like just a teaser. Like I don't want to know everything about it, except for I do want to know everything about it.
Actually, there is one other question, because this is like a big thing for a lot of people. I'm assuming that it will be put on YouTube for people that cannot join you live. Is that correct?
That is correct. So it'll be both on the Grenades and Horseshoes YouTube channel as well as Planet Destiny's YouTube channel. We're still working out the details on some RSS feed type stuff if we want to be able to push it out to people, and figuring out what's going to be the best format, because obviously it's a little easier to do that with just straight audio than it is when so much of our show is going to be actually leaning heavy on the video component and the things that we're doing with video, that it would certainly take away from, I think, the experience just to have the audio itself. So thinking about what's the best way that we can make that consumable for people if they want to have access to that video format in an offline manner. So we're working through some of those details, but YouTube, it'll be there. Obviously, it'll be available live when we're airing it as well.
All right, that it, Sharks?
Yeah, that's it for me.
And I guess if anybody, I mean, people who listen to this probably aren't as concerned, but certainly Planet Destiny, they have their channel set to really appeal to a wide audience. So there's not going to be anything that would be limited to a mature audience. It will be content that is safe for young people as well as, you know, old people. Everybody's going to enjoy it, but we're not going to have, you know, crazy innuendos or swearing or things like that.
Excellent. Agrios, did you have a question for a Gray Ghost?
If it doesn't give away too much, was there a real life event that provided something of a eureka moment that, you know, led to the creation of the show?
Not necessarily. Yeah, well, I mean, sort of. It's probably no. Most people, if they have spent time with me offline or working on various projects, Mark and I, we seem to click on a lot of different creative levels and enjoyed working together. And so for quite a while, we actually, I mean, seriously, months and months, we've been discussing, well, what's one kind of project that we could work on that we could both hang our hats on and be really proud of. And we played around with a few different ideas. We went a lot of different directions. But I would say that it was more, and Remy, you take a lot of credit for this because Remy is the one who introduced me to Mark Squared. And so you could actually say that some of these things that have come out of our friendship, Mark and I, our friendship, a lot of that is credit to you, Remy, for bringing us together and introducing us. But yeah, it's just, you know, you start kind of talking about different ideas, different things you want to do. And again, we kind of started with some of the real foundational principles. We wanted to do something that we could be proud of, that leveraged the things that we excelled at. For him, his art, his creative mind, and the different ideas that he brings to the table, certainly. And then I can leverage some things from a technology standpoint. And so using our skill set to create something that doesn't exist yet. That was the other thing. Like, I didn't want to just do something that somebody else was doing, even if I felt like we could do it better. I wanted to do something that was completely different, that nobody else was doing in the space. And yeah, it's turned out pretty well.
Very cool. Very cool. Was that the end of your question, Agrios?
Yep.
Sweet. Jez, what question or questions do you have for Gray Ghost?
I'm fine with just waiting for it to come out. And then I can see it.
Excellent. Great. Well then, yeah, I'm definitely going to check it out. And you should.
My question is, what question haven't we asked that you want to answer?
Oh, great question, Jez.
Wow.
I knew you had it in
Wow.
you. What question do you want to answer that we haven't asked yet?
Wow. I would actually not like to let out any other pieces. I want to get you guys and everybody who's listening, intrigued enough that they certainly would like to tune in. The only other thing that I would leave is that, certainly reach out to us if there's certain aspects, certain things that you think we should probably know about in order to, continue to drive to create this product to be what we want it to be. So as you kind of watch through the episodes, and we will appreciate the support that you guys give us. We'll certainly take that feedback as well, because we want to try to make this product as good as we can.
Excellent. I bet it's going to be fantastic. And you know what? I will take credit. I will take the credit you're giving me for introducing you guys. I'm happy to do that. I didn't. It wasn't like an intentional thing. Like, oh man, like pouring an acid into water. I can't wait to see this happen. Like, but it's cool. I'm glad that everything worked out like that. So great. Back to some news, Agrios. What do we have going on?
Okay, so we were talking about clans, and yeah. Okay, so this week then they brought up the beta. We got a beta trailer, and they let us know what to expect coming from the beta. They let us know that we're going to have the homecoming mission that most of us have all seen, that we got to play at E3 on the computers, which is the opening mission and cinematics from Destiny 2's campaign. The Countdown Crucible mode, which we have seen. It says on a new custom-built map to support this new game type. Now, are they talking about the new custom-built map that the guys got to play at E3 built for this game type? Or are they talking about a new custom-built map we haven't seen yet for this game type?
Right.
I would say it's the one we've seen, because they've been lauding over how they made that map for Countdown.
But they had to have made more than one map for Countdown, right?
Well, yeah, but also they probably don't want to let too much slip, because they probably are a little bit burned from last time. Everyone's like, oh, this is like half the game.
Okay, so this is a really great point, and I feel like I started to slip back into the whimsy and wonder of the magical words coming from Bungie, and then Jez, you kept me grounded. You said, well, you know what? It's probably going to be the same thing. It's the same thing they did when Destiny launched, is they brought the same exact setup to everywhere they went. And as soon as you said that, it all made sense. So if this was a never before seen map, then they would have put the words never before seen custom built map. Like there wouldn't be any ambiguity here. There would just be them saying that this is a map that you haven't seen before. So
new doesn't cover that for you.
Yeah, no.
Well, it's technically still new.
It will be new to me. It will be new to millions of people who have never played it. So, I mean, I will be surprised, and I would like to play on another map. I feel like that map looks weird. It looks too clean. It looks too much like the one game of Overwatch that I've ever played. Like it looks like that one map. Like
that, it felt like that map a little bit.
I have not played on it, but watching all of the stuff, it looked like that one. The only map I've ever played on, it looked like that one, and I was disappointed in that.
I had a thought of it while I was there playing it.
But I'll play it, and I will play happily. So yeah.
Something new we'll have will be the control game type. Well, I mean, not new, but new for Destiny 2. The original standard for Crucible combat's back with some impactful changes. Control the zones on another new map built with this objective in mind. So this one, however, will be a new map that we've never seen before, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking.
And they just used the word new here to describe it.
That's true. But we haven't seen this game type, right? They haven't showed us this game type.
True.
So I don't know. I feel like if they were to say never before seen map on this one, then we would have known that the other one was not. I feel like they're keeping it vague, right? So they're keeping it vague, I think. because why would they share any more than they need to? I feel like they're holding their cards so close to the vest for this one, like not giving us a planet to roam around on. Like I remember finding out that the moon was just a giant circle and being really, really disappointed in that. And so I feel like I'm not going to be nearly as disappointed this time, but they don't want me to get tired of it. I feel like they've given us too much time for too little material, and that's the way they want to keep it. And I'm fine with that.
I mean, I don't remember it offhand, but we know the name of the new countdown map, right? They told us the name of it.
I do not remember if they did.
So I find it curious they weren't more specific here. Like you said, they're being so vague, but it seems as though the control map is one we've never seen before, yet they left the countdown kind of ambiguous. But the inverted spire, which Jez got to play, will be in the beta. Strike at the heart of a Vex stronghold, bring 2 willing allies, or let matchmaking introduce you to a fire team of guardians. And then it says new subclasses. The new fighting style for each class will be at the ready. Choose from the Dawnblade Warlock, Arcstrider Hunter, or Sentinel Titan.
Hold
Does that mean we're only going to get those 3 for the beta?
Stop.
I think so.
Stop. You guys are jumping ahead. Okay, I think that we should. Okay, so like, obviously, lots of people have been talking about this. I think this is super exciting. The control, because this is going to be first time that we're going to see control with all the new stuff, 4v4 control. You know, this is we're really going to get into it right away. You know, people like this week, you know, everybody's doing Iron Banner, and we are all used to this 6v6 stuff, and that's, you know, obviously this is the new stuff that's coming to control is 4v4 with, of course, power ammo. Don't you guys have any thoughts on that, or are you guys just done with thinking about stuff like that?
I want to interrupt because the new map is called Midtown.
Thank you, Jess.
You know, when they announced it, I didn't even think about the 4v4 aspect of it. I was totally tracking that this was going to be a 6v6 type thing. That's going to be, that's going to be very different.
It is. It is. It will definitely. People are either going to love or hate it right away. I think.
Especially, so I was just asking a couple questions as we go through. When I finished the list, I was going to say, so what are you guys going to be looking to? What are you guys most excited to dive into and find out about in the beta?
Okay, so you know what I want to know. I want to ask Jez. You played that strike. How many times, Jez, do you think that you will be interested in playing that strike during the beta?
That's rough because I can't probably see myself playing it more than 5 times.
Okay, so 5 times, that makes sense. I can go along with that. That's about what I was thinking too.
That's roughly how long it takes for you to get all the different drops that might be at the end. Or just to level up. Because chances are you're going to be 5 going to 8 again.
So, and how many times can you see yourself playing that first mission of the game?
Probably twice.
And you got each character, remember, too. Are you going to play through all 3 characters, or Jez, are you just going to play one character in the beta?
Well, when I say twice, I mean I'll play through it and then I'll replay through it willingly. The other 2 times will be unwillingly.
Okay. So you won't be as geeked about trying the other new subclasses like each time through?
I mean, I get the gist of what a character is, so I don't really have to worry about how a particular subclass plays at the lowest level mission possible.
This is interesting, and you know what? And I agree. I'm not nearly as hyped as I probably should be for this, and because I'm not going to have like a freestyle roaming activity where I can just go to a planet's surface and hang out, like the first mission of the game is very tailored. It's not like I can just run over to another area. You know, I feel like there's a linear progression, and then that's it. So we get 1 story mission, we get 1 strike, and we get 2 crucible maps like this. I feel like I'm going to play through this, you know, a couple of times, 2-3 times, and then that's going to be it. Like I don't feel like I necessarily have to play with each character.
You know, I gotta mention that they managed to play it super, super safe with Homecoming as the mission, because that means they don't have to do a patrol, and they don't have to make a mission that's on a patrol. So you can't like just leave and go actually do the patrol. You got to do this mission. That's all you can do in it.
Right, and then we're not going to get to see the farm until Sunday, when they're going to do that stress test for 1 hour. So, it's not like we really have a place to hang out. So I don't know. I feel like, oh, that's what it was you brought up, Gray, previously. One of the other things keeping me from being interested in playing is that I have to delete something right now, like in order to do anything, in order to get anything, or else everything just starts getting pushed out of the postmaster. And so I'm not interested in going through any of it. Like, I don't want to touch anything, and I don't want to delete it either. So I feel like I'm just really waiting for Destiny 2 at this point. Like, I do have a lot of things I still need to do. I still need to beat Wrath on hard mode on the PlayStation. I still need to do Gorgons on both systems. So it's like, I don't know. I'm just really waiting for Destiny 2. I will play the beta. I'll probably play the crap out of the beta. But for the most part, I just really want to be in a place where I can start to pack rat again. I really want to start putting away materials, for later, and building up my arsenal and becoming stronger. Like, I want to explore. So, this beta is going to be cool, but it is the same footage that I've seen a ton, and it is, I don't know. Sharks, what do you think about all this?
Well, okay, so we have a strike that when people were doing it at the reveal event, they were not finding the end of it. So, I mean, you can go in there with 2 other Guardians and just on the strike go and explore, because a lot of the times strikes are part of the patrol areas.
This is true. I'm very excited to see what else is there. You're saying that they couldn't find the end of it?
Well, I mean, there was no stop. You know how you go
track and explore. They didn't come to a wall at the end. Is what he's saying.
Right.
Interesting, because I thought they fell down this shaft and were faced with a bad guy. But maybe
there were areas on that strike that. Well, I mean, ask Jez. He's the one that played it. I haven't played it. I've only looked at video. But there are areas that it looks like it goes off into, who knows how far.
What, the final boss section?
No, not the final boss.
No, he's saying before, without paying attention to doing the strike at all, that you could just go off the beaten track and explore from the strike.
I don't think.
The area that the strike is in.
I don't think you can, because it seems it's very corridor, and the only place that I feel is open-ended is kind of like a big round shape, and that's like the war zone section, where like there's craters and there's those beasts, those war beasts that are attacking you, but I didn't see any place that you could really go off the beaten path that far.
Interesting. I don't know. I know that, when we look for ghosts and stuff like that in just the strikes that we have seen in Destiny 1, there's an awful lot to explore. So, I mean, I just see there being a lot more to look through if you really wanted to. I understand the reservations that some of the people are having about, don't want to play the same strike over and over and over again, especially since, you're going to do that when the game actually drops. But I mean, this is not the game. This is an incarnation before the actual release of the game that they will have changes to. And I don't know. I play the shit out of stuff anyways, so I'm kind of curious. I'm sure I will play like the strike. I will play that more than 5 times. I guarantee it. maybe 5 times on each character the first day.
Interesting. I believe it. I definitely believe it. Okay, Gray, what is your take on all of this?
So I've intentionally left myself a little bit, as much as I can, out of the loop on some of the Destiny 2 beta reveal information. I know that we haven't got into the ING piece of it, but I stayed a lot of that. I did follow up with This Week at Bungie. And I think from a content standpoint, it's going to be hard to keep myself in check that this is only a beta and try to treat it like a beta. Mainly because this is a game where we get in the habit of playing content over and over and over again. It's going to feel normal. It's going to feel okay to play through this strike, 20 times, because we're going to be playing through these strikes countless numbers of times during the lifespan of this game. But if you compare it to how you treat other betas, so Lawbreakers beta was just this past weekend, and I'm happy to play that for 25 minutes, and then I got a feel for what's coming and put it down. So it's going to be in between, right? It's going to be certainly a lot more than how we treat other betas, but I also don't necessarily want to get burned out on just the little bit of content that we get to enjoy for those few days that we have it. But with that said, I'm probably going to just play it until other aspects of my life fall apart, and I can just continue to blame it on Destiny.
I love it. Jez, did you give your input on this?
Yeah.
Okay. Agrios, why don't you give us your take on what we have been talking about, and then moving on.
I'm pretty excited to dig into the beta. I'll probably play it over and over again quite a bit. So one thing I asked there about the subclasses, it says that the new fighting style for each class will be at the ready. Choose from the Dawnblade, Warlock, Arcstrider, Hunter, or Sentinel Titan. Are they just putting out the new classes that are going to be available in the beta, or are we only going to get to play the new classes in the beta?
That's a good question. I mean, we didn't plan on having the moon opened to us, right? When the beta dropped, there was no talk of that, and so they just dropped us on it. So I feel like it makes sense to give us only these new subclasses, and but who knows what will happen. I feel like at any point they could just flip a switch and be like, here is another subclass, or here is another strike, or here is another mission, or here is what I would love to see. Do you know what I would love to see? I would love to see a beta only mission, like a mission that they curated, they created and made special just for this beta. Something that's not going to come again. Something that could maybe they could show us exactly what they wanted in this own ecosystem that has nothing to do with anything else, just for us. Sharks, you had a comment on this?
Yeah, well, okay, I doubt very much that they're going to take out what they've already given people that got to play it at E3. And you didn't have to play the new subclass. I didn't.
Right. But, I mean, is that just going to all be unlocked still for the beta? Or are they going to restrict that and only let you play these 3 subclasses? I mean, when we played the beta for Destiny 1, you didn't unlock... I mean, did we have access to everything?
No.
I don't think so.
You didn't have access to the second. So you only had Gunslinger, you had
that's what I thought.
Bomb, and you had Striker.
Right.
Yeah, but with what they showed at for the original Destiny, they only had that open to the people at E3. That was the only thing that they had open.
What I'm saying is, though, the characters at E3 are already fully leveled up. I mean, we're going to be level capped at 8. Are we even going to be able to unlock more than the first subclass available at us? I mean, we're not. I'm not saying they said we're going to be level capped at 8. I said I'm saying we're probably going to be level capped at something like.
You're not getting what I'm saying though. Okay, I understand if they're going to say, okay, well, we're not going to open up everything, but they have already shown people playing Gunslinger.
Mm-hmm.
Twice now at E3 and at the reveal. Do you think now that they're going to release a beta to the masses that they're going to say, oh, you know what? You can't play Gunslinger? No,
if they're going to
they-
cap you at like level 8, and you
way.
don't unlock the other
No.
classes till after that.
I see what you're saying, Sharks, and I hope that you're right. But really, they could do whatever they want.
Also the problem is they haven't shown Voidwalker at all.
So-
Let alone even mention that Voidwalker.
Well, no,
is...
didn't they do? They showed Ikora Ray using some sweet
That
Voidwalker
doesn't-
magic.
None of that counts.
Oh, okay.
I know that people have been to Bungie and played as a Voidwalker, if that makes you feel any better, Jez.
Yeah, but I mean, for the public, no one's seen Voidwalker, so it's like,
We will soon.
I mean, do you even want to play those old ones? Just to see what is different about them? Because I'm pretty excited about these new subclasses.
I did
I'm pretty
when
excited
I
about the
played
old ones.
PvP.
Well, these aren't exact. Well, I mean, we've seen some variation in how you can even use the new subclasses. I'm just curious where they're going to put the cap line. Like, we are capped at level 8 in progression, but we don't even understand at this point how progression on our new characters is going to work. Like, we might be capped at progression through our abilities, for instance.
Yeah, I don't know.
well,
Well, I
we
guess-
were in the other game too.
I guess we'll just wait and see.
The other beta.
Finish up
Right?
your
Yeah, we were, 'cause-
finish up your assessment, Agrios, and then moving on.
That finishes up my assessment. They do mention that nothing will be carrying over from the beta into the main game, with the exception of the beta emblem that you can earn participating in the beta itself.
I wonder if that was a data request for them to put that in the TWAB.
Right?
Pretty sure it's an every time request, not just Dado.
No, I know, but he got asked that question, and then that became a meme for
Right,
like the
forever.
first 2 years of Destiny.
Right? I can't believe it ever dropped. I can't
Yeah.
believe it ever dropped. And so at some point I thought about it and I was like, oh man, I bet that people are going to do this. Like if I'm remembering this, people are going to remember this. And you know what? I thought about tweeting to him, hey, do you think that the beta, stuff is going to carry over? But I didn't want to be the one who started it. I don't want Dato hating me. Okay, moving on. Wait, Agrios, did I ask you how many times you were going to play the strike and whatnot?
No, but I started my assessment off by saying I'll probably play it quite a bit, like something along the lines of what Sharks mentioned.
Gotcha. Thank you.
I enjoy looking at the nooks and crannies. I enjoy taking this as kind of a test period, as in, like, I can kind of make mistakes that I won't need to make on my main character when I play through then. Like, I should be an
Absolutely.
ace at the beginning of the game, on my main character.
Yes.
I'll know what guns not to waste my time on to a degree, so I will use this period to really extensively test as many guns as I can get my hand on for streamlining my play when I dig into the main game.
Yeah, that's a really great idea. And that's something I'm going to be doing too. I would really like it if Destiny had a separate section of PvP for, who cares, like there is no KD here. Like, because I feel like when I play Destiny right now, I feel like I want to keep my KD up. Like, I've got a 1.39 or 1.44, like somewhere in there. And I enjoy having that. I enjoy having a stat that I've been holding past hundreds of games. I feel really good about that. But I really wish that there was a place where I could just rush in. Like, I want to play like Agrios. I want to see where the strengths are to what you're doing. But I know that if I just hang back and let those other fools run around the corner, that I can pick off 2 or 3 of them before I die, and that's going to help my team win. So I'd really like there to be a time where I can just go balls to the wall and not really have to worry about it. And that's what this beta is going to be. You're right. Additionally, it wouldn't even be a bad idea to try and break out of the map. Like, here you go, Bungie. Like, there's a whole forum dedicated to if you find something wrong with the game. And I feel like this would help them. This is a test, like they said in the weekly update. So,
Not to mention, if you want to trade roles ever, Remy, you can ask to take the front. Like, I just know you like playing where you play. So if you ever want to take the front, I can play like you play. That's how I have to play when I play with randos when I go in.
right. But I just feel like it's like, okay.
Like how
well,
I had to play when I was soloing the Shield Brothers when you dropped in on me. I can play like that if I have to, right?
Yeah. Actually, it's funny. I actually started playing with a shotgun just recently, where I don't know, like I just you know what it was is I was running out of time. I was running out of time before the weekly reset, and I just wanted to get my boxes done. So I just right through a strike used a shotgun and just charged everything, and it was actually a lot of fun. Like I just pushed straight through, and the other guys were the ones up top picking off other things. Like it was a lot of fun. So, but yeah,
but I got a good revival team coming behind me. It's a lot of fun.
Right, right. So so this beta is your opportunity to just let your freak flag fly. That's my plan. Moving on.
So as Remy would say, you can start to let your freak flag fly on July 18th to the 20th for the PS4, July 19th to the 20th for Xbox One, and July 21st to the 23rd will be open to everybody, with a follow-up PC beta in August. Now, they haven't been super clear. Like the early access bit of pre-ordering comes with, is that just going to be taken care of with these betas? Is there going to be an early access and a regular PC period? Like, do I need to go out and pre-order a PC copy temporarily right now just to make sure I get in early on the PC game? And how many guys here are going to be trying to do the PC beta in August?
That's a good question. I I just picked up from Amazon like a bare bones system so that I will be able to broadcast as well. And I was going back and forth in my brain about whether I want to just save up and have a really good computer for playing Destiny, or if I should just get something that I can begin to broadcast again. And then I stumbled across a schematic that basically said have a broadcasting computer and have a playing computer. And so I'm excited about this. I'm excited about this new setup that I've come across. And so I feel like it's far enough away to where I could probably pick up a computer that would run it. But this is a good question. I'm not sure exactly how the pre-ordering is going to work. I do have a Battle.net setup. I'm ready to do it. So
no, I might have missed this, but did they release minimum PC specs?
I haven't seen them. If there is,
think so. Do you guys think that's a bit late in the game to be not having released minimum PC specs yet?
I feel like probably what we'll see is that there's probably a bar right now for a lot of games that are out, a lot of popular games, and I feel like that'll be the same bar roughly. Like I feel like
the PC beta is in a month and they haven't told us what kind of computer to get yet.
It leads me to believe that they're still optimizing the engine for PC. I actually think they're not entirely sure what the low-end spec systems are going to be able to do with it quite yet. So I think it's a big question mark, even on their end.
Additionally, Bungie has been, because they've always been console, or at least for as long as they've been popular, they've been console. The console ecosystem, they have like a minimum bar that they can set for how good their graphics are going to be or how good the frame rate's going to be. So they're not going to want to have a less than really good looking. They don't want people playing Destiny 2 and it looks like crap on their lower end computers. So I feel like
PC gamers have a grasp on that already. Like, that's not anything new to PC gamers, that if you try to run your thing on a really crappy system, that it's going to look bad.
Totally. And I don't think Bungie's interested in that at all. I don't think that they have any interest in their game looking anything less than stellar. So, I don't know. I think that Gray's right. I think that probably the whole reason it's being held back, instead of it going live at the same time, they're just really ironing it out. Probably at this point in the development, it's moving like super fast. Like every single day they're able to optimize it, twice as good as they had it yesterday. So why not push it out a little bit more?
I totally agree with Gray's assessment of what is actually going on. And I actually really like that they're offsetting the PC beta anyway. Like, regardless whether they were ready or not, they should have delayed it by a couple weeks just so people have the opportunity to play on both. So you're not competing for time with your beta experience. And
You say that
said,
like it's
and
completely
accepted
different.
Gray's reasoning, do you still think it's been like? Do you still think they're pushing it too late? Do you think this is going to bother people? Do you think this is going to sway their decision as to what they're going to do with their Destiny experience?
I think if anything, the raid would be more off-putting than this beta, or that the the minimum requirements haven't been left out. Then again, I don't think that necessarily will bother them, because if you've already got a computer, you can already play all these other amazing games that are so much deeper than Destiny 2 will ever be. So,
well, see, I'm interested in whether I can build a minimum spec PC that can minimally perform this, and that I can upgrade when I have more money later to make it look absolutely fantastic. But I'm interested in building a minimum spec computer, maybe investing in just the graphic card and leaving a lot of other stuff,
later.
Minimal for now. But I don't have anything to go on to try to figure out a budget, to try to figure out if that's going to be worthwhile for me.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, there is. You can go off of the minimum spec that came up this last week about making a comparable PC to the Xbox One X.
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
The Xbox One X, the PC that they made out of trying to make it as close to the same quality and as cheap as possible. They were only able to do it at like $650 or $675. So the reason that they were doing this whole thing was comparing how good of a value the Xbox One X is if you were comparing to a PC. And even though the Xbox One X is a lot faster than a Pro, we already know that a Pro can't handle these minimum specs that you're talking about for a PC. So you would say, okay, maybe
wait
the
a minute.
Xbox
That doesn't
One...
make any sense.
What are you talking about? It doesn't make sense.
Well, the minimum specs for a PC are going to be able to run it at the capacity of a Pro, say. I'm saying if it can run on a Pro, it can run on a PC equivalent to a Pro.
A Pro can't run it at 60 frames per second.
I'm not talking about being able to do that.
Will you listen? But they have said that an Xbox One X will. Okay, it can, but it's not going to be allowed.
But that's exceeding the minimum specs.
Jesus.
I think you muted yourself, Sharks.
Oh no, I just muted.
Oh.
Okay, so I didn't mute myself. I just stopped. If you want to sit there and argue about it, that is minimum specs. It's not going to run it at 120 frames per second 4K, but it will do minimum value at 60 frames per second on an Xbox One X. So if you build that PC based off of that spec, then there you go. There's your minimum value PC for you. If you were that concerned about wanting to get a PC up and running, and it would cost you about $700.
I just think that's more than you would need to spend to hit the minimum. That's like mid-range. I don't care about getting 60 frames per second. I'd be okay with 30 to start with. I just want to be able to play it on PC.
Gray, are you confident that your computer will be able to play Destiny? Do you feel like you will have to do much upgrade before you're able to play?
No, mine is set that I can confidently do high to maybe even ultra high settings for 1080p. I'm not going to try to push 4K through my system. For one, I actually prefer to play on my monitors. I don't have a 4K monitor. I could push it to my TV, but with the hardware that's in it right now, I've got a GTX 970, and it should be just fine to run 1080p. Frame rate is going to be whatever it's going to be. It'll be high enough that it's not going to be an issue. And as long as I can push the textures, the particle effects, the physics as high as possible, that's really what I'm going to go for what I enjoy in a game. And then the next thing that if I do decide that I need to update something, it'll probably be the video card, because I think that if anything's going to cause a bottleneck, that's going to be it. But I'm thinking that for Bungie said in an interview that this is quoting them, and this is from segmentnext.com, and they're quoting an interview, but they don't cite it. But they said that the question was asked, do you have to buy an expensive and powerful hardware to play Destiny 2? Bungie's response, no, you absolutely won't have to buy the latest and greatest hardware to be able to play the game and have a fun, quality experience. And then it just speaks to the fact that they're handing it over to Vicarious Visions to do the port. And that their biggest thing is that they don't want anybody to look at the game as a console port. They want it to feel like a PC game. I think that there's a lot of flexibility. So with PC, I mean, you can change your frame rates, you can change your graphic settings, you can change your resolutions. I'm thinking that you could probably get a PC that will have a quality experience, right? I mean, we might scoff at it. Compared to, it might even be worse than console experience, but you could probably get a PC for $300-400 that's going to play the game.
That's
but
what I'm hoping.
It'll probably look worse than what you experience on console. In fact, I would probably think it definitely is going to look worse than what it's going to look like on console.
Can you tell me why somebody would do that, Gray?
Well, I think the only reason, I wouldn't recommend it, but let's say that you want to play Destiny. For one, let's say that's where your hardware is today, and you don't want to invest. That's one reason why you might do it.
Right, I'm hoping to be able to throw it on something I have already.
The other reason is if you're limited in resource, but the community you want to play with, then it gives you access to playing a game within a community within your resources. But I think that the recommended level is what you're saying, Sharks. Like, I've watched Breyer's videos on this. It looks like that they haven't released their information yet, but it's probably going to be $500-600 to have the experience that as gamers we would look at and say, I'm proud of what Destiny 2 is on PC. Right. Less than that, you're probably going to say, oh, this looks worse than what it does on my console, and I thought PC was going to be better.
I think a lot of it's a group of people that will play a game to play the game, not for the best looking game, just for the game itself. Like, it'll still be the same game despite the fact that it looks like worse than a PS4, but they'll still play it. I mean, they'll still play PS3 games, they'll still play Xbox 360 games.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Like, my new laptop's fairly beefy. I'm curious, would I be able to squeeze Destiny 2 out on it? You know what I mean? To try the beta? Like, could I run it at 30 frames per second in, 720?
I think that it's a possibility. I think it is a possibility. We're not going to know until we figure out how well they optimize their game and what sacrifices they're willing to make on the low end for hardware.
Yep.
Moving on. So let's talk about IGN. Now, I guess spoiler here. Well, first let's go over the list of what they're planning on talking about this month. We already had the exploring the new social space, The Farm. Excuse me. Then today earlier we had Bungie's vision for Destiny 2. July 7th, we have our first impressions from them. July 10th, the PvP reveal. July 11th, developing the story of Destiny 2. July 12th, a closer look at the Sentinel Titan. July 13th, a PvP reveal. July 14th, the sounds of Destiny 2. July 18th, the Destiny 2 beta live. July 19th, a closer look at combatants. July 20th, peripherals. July 21st, localization. July 24th, a destination explored. Ooh.
July 25th, PvP reveal. July 26th, creating an exotic. July 28th, ask Bungie anything. So, we have the Destiny reveal. We talked about the dates on that before. That's going to be wrapping up on the 23rd, allegedly. And as we know, they did some extra stuff at the end of the beta, so they may pull something like that this time too. And July 24th would be right after the beta closes. So do you think there's any chance that along with IGN's reveal of a destination explored, we're going to get a run around the patrol space that same day? as a bonus day tacked on the end of the beta. Just happens to line up there, a destination explored in the last day after the beta. That's what I'm hoping for, fingers crossed. Do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it's probably both, actually, because as much as I want to believe and do believe that the new patrol areas are going to be gigantic and there's going to be nooks and crannies and it's going to be a place where it's going to take a lot longer to get to know. I feel like it's not going to be a giant circle. I feel like it's just going to be like a giant area, and you're just going to be able to, go through different places. Like this
They did say if it wasn't for PlayStation 3 that the Rocket Yard, the Divide, the original area, the Moth Yard would have all been one area loading zone free.
Yeah, that sounds really amazing. So I definitely feel like I would like to see extra stuff. I would like to see the patrol zone. Like I definitely want to go exploring. I would rather go exploring first. Like if they said, all right, well, today we're going to release this video where IGN talks about exploring this area, but also before that happens, we're going to give you a chance to go explore on your own. That's what I'd rather do. I feel like I don't have a choice. I'm just going to roll around in all of this information. Like I just feel like I have to, not necessarily for this show, but because there's information out there, I feel like I need to seek it out. Like I need to put all of this information in my brain. And I don't feel like they're putting out, like, let's say that they do that. Let's say that they give us an area to explore. I don't feel like it's going to be too much. I feel like it's, I don't know. I feel like it's going to be fine. I do understand that a lot of people don't want to know, and a lot of people just want to go in as blind as possible. But I just can't even imagine being there. Like I've been disconnected from Destiny this last couple of weeks. I haven't been nearly as focused on it as possible, and I still know everything that's going on. Like my phone right now is every time I pull down the little tab, it's just Destiny information. Like I've just got notifications on everyone in the community who has good information, who is a good hub of information. So even with how disconnected I am, I'm still right there, understanding as much as there is to understand. So definitely good and bad, Agrios. Gray, what do you think? Do you think that they're going to open up a new area for us? And if they do or don't, will you be going there to play? And if they don't, will you be checking out that IGN first? And do you think that all of this is good and bad?
So I'm going to try to stay away from the IGN piece. I'm kind of glad that I heard that they didn't reveal too much in the stuff they've been able to present so far. I just, something inside me is kind of against that type of marketing, that exclusive type marketing, and it's information that I'd rather experience than necessarily read about. Now, as far as opening up something that's new and not necessarily announced, did they do this at all with the Destiny 1 beta? Was there anything that they didn't tell you that was going to be in that beta that happened to be there? Like, does Bungie have a track record of doing this?
They do have a track record of giving out extra stuff to their community. They're a very giving publisher. But on the last day of the beta, they said, "All right, well, here's the moon. You have like 3 hours to explore it or whatever. But if you didn't go back to orbit, you just got to stay there." So I was on the moon for like 8 hours that day. And I explored absolutely every inch of it that I could go through, and I was really disappointed in how small it was. Like at first, when I would go, like I went down to like Crota's chamber at first, and I was so excited, and this is super cool. And I went through, and then I came out the other side, and it was already this other area that was on top of the moon, and I was like, well, wait a second, like I didn't go anywhere. This was just like another area, like how small the moon is,
right?
And so it was cool, but at the same time, I just felt really like this game is going to be so small in comparison to what I was hoping for.
A lot of us were hoping it wasn't even the whole moon. We were hoping that was like just zone 1 of the moon. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
as
sure.
It turns out, it was the whole moon except for going down into the sealed off strikey parts.
Yeah, the Hellmouth.
Now, they also went so far as to give everybody who came and did that last extra special day when they opened up the moon their own special emblem just for that day. There were 2 beta emblems. There was to be there for the main beta, then there was show up the last day for our special test, and wow, it's on the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, that feels a lot like what they're doing with the farm, though, right?
A little bit, but they're telling us about it here, and that's why I'm thinking that maybe with that will also come a patrol space, like with the farm. And well, the farm is the last thing they're saying on the last real day. They let us do a whole extra day on the end of the beta that we weren't even supposed to have for Destiny 1.
Sure.
I think that was because there was a lot of people were getting disconnected really badly on that
I think it
last
was
day.
planned. I think it was planned all along.
Okay, it definitely could have been planned, but I definitely heard a lot of complaints about people saying, "Well, this is the last day of the beta, and I wanted to play, but they kept getting weaseled or whatever."
Well, all I can say is I wish that I didn't
because Bungie
know
said they
any
were
of
fluctuating the
this.
settings, messing with people.
You wish you didn't know any of this,
I wish I
Gray?
didn't know any of this. That way, if it happened, it would be like the best thing in the world, and I could just enjoy it and be like, "This
Yeah.
is amazing." But now that I know, and I mean, I'm still going to go into it thinking nothing, right? We're going to get what they've announced. That way, when it ends and you're left going, all right, this is the experience that I was promised. This is why I pre-ordered. This is a beta. I can be okay with that. I certainly don't want to get my hopes up that we're going to get to experience something after that and then potentially just be let down because, Bungie did what they said they were going to do, and that was it.
I feel like the information that we exchange and the amount of knowledge that we have of Destiny, I feel like we're one step down from employees of the game. Like the people who do the art for some of these things, they're not going to be surprised when they get to the last bad guy. Someone designed that. First, somebody drew it up, somebody then modeled it, and then somebody rigged it. Like there's so many steps. All of these people at Bungie, like they already basically know so much of what's going on, and we're like that next step down. Sometimes I wish I didn't know anything about Destiny at all, so that when I went in, I was like, oh my God, this is so amazing. Because if I didn't know anything about Destiny, it would have been such a fantastic game. But because I had been following it for like 2 years prior to its release, I was like, oh, this is great. Sharks, what do you make about what we're talking about here?
Okay, so I am totally with Bray as far as not wanting to hear anything, see anything. And I actually had a very big issue the very first day of the IGN reveal because I was not going to watch it. I kind of went dark on Twitter. I would scroll through, and I have the same problem you do, Remy. I follow a lot of people that give off a lot of information, and so it's like, oh well, I can't look at that tweet, and I said to my wife, I said, I don't know if I want to watch this stuff, and that kind of goes against everything that I've always done. As far as we go on this show, we talk about stuff, and we warn people we're going to talk about spoiler stuff. So if you don't want to hear it, plug your ears, And I was like, but I don't want to have to do that for a new game. I don't like having to do it for DLCs. And my wife was like, well, it doesn't matter. The beta's right around the corner. You're going to be playing it, and then it's only a month until you're playing it. Doubt they're going to show very much because it's not like a walkthrough like what Bungie was doing. They were just going to show you some stuff. I was like, yeah, you're probably right. And then I went through and I put a question in our Guardian 1 chat, and I was waiting to see how many people had gone through and watched it, and quite a few had watched it. I was actually kind of surprised, and I hadn't heard anything bad. In fact, I had heard lots of comments about it not really being very much. So I ended up going and watching it, and I can actually tell you, Gray, if you went and watched it, you really wouldn't be spoiling yourself to really anything, because
except for possibly the identity of the Cryptarch.
okay, I said hardly anything. Okay, hardly anything, because basically everything that they've shown us so far was what was there. But on the same point of it, it's like it does take away from walking in and being surprised, like Grace saying, "Oh, going in and not knowing that they're going to throw an extra day, or you're going to go to the moon," during the first beta. We didn't know stuff like that, and boom, when we did it, it was super exciting. So I do kind of I really wish that they wouldn't have done this at all. But so far, knock on wood, IGN is doing a good job at not showing too much, and I hope they keep up with that. As far as what's to come, will we get to go and do a space, or are they just going to show us a space? I don't know. I mean, I kind of have a feeling that you might be able to get out of the farm when they let us in the farm. I mean, I don't know, maybe not, but it is connected to the real world. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm excited and I'm leery about it all at the same time, but I started watching it. Well, I'm sure I'll keep watching it. Maybe not on the 24th, depending on what happens with the beta.
That's a really good point, depending on what happens on the beta. Because you're right. Like, I watched that farm video and I thought to myself, should I be watching this? Should I save myself? And then they didn't really touch on very much. And then, I don't know. I kind of feel like I've already been there because I've seen the reveal trailer or whatever. And so, I don't know. I feel like I just want to intake all of the information, and then I will just play the game when it comes out. Like, I'm burned on trying to stop myself from knowing too much. I feel like you're right. IGN / Bungie really is doing a good job giving us just a taste instead of going through the nitty gritty. Like, there's definitely no nitty gritty happening
so far.
Yeah, exactly. So far. Great. Jez, did you have anything that you wanted to add to this?
No, other than just to bring up that another thing that we got in the beta was Iron Banner, and they haven't talked about that.
That's very true. They did have Iron Banner during the beta. That's a great point, Jez. I'm glad that you brought that up. I saw that in the chat and then immediately forgot about it. So thank you for reminding us about that. The beta could be very big, judging by what has happened previously. So, okay, moving on. Unless, Agrios, you had something to say about this.
No, so spoiler-free rundown of the points made in the first two IGN reveals. They did reveal the identity of the Cryptarch and the new Postmaster in the farm. I'll leave that out because that's mildly spoilery. But the new social space will hold 26 players. Soccer itself is fully scored. There will be ways to make your Guardian stand out. The space will evolve as the game progresses, and new pastimes and things to do. And there will also be events with locked loadouts for certain activities. So raids or strikes, who knows? But there will be locked loadouts, as in you choose how you suit up, and that's how you must be suited up.
Right. Okay. So this is something that we've talked about previously, something that I've really thought a lot about as far as making Destiny even that much more competitive. We talked about, here is this certain set of armor that you can buy, a certain set of gear that you can buy to go into this multiplayer activity where everybody has the same weapons, and so it comes down to skill in this one game type. And we talked about them locking the set as you went into the activity, and this falls right into that category. This is exactly it perfectly. On top of that, though, this reminds me sort of back before there was the mobile vault. The mobile vault is fantastic, and having it has been a lot of fun. And I'll just load into an activity and worry about the worry about the gear that I have when I get there. And at this point, if they're talking about locking you into what you're holding, then, getting together with the people that you're doing these missions with is going to be very important, especially like when you consider burns, especially when you consider modifications like match game, like where it will be very important for you to, like, oh, well, here's an arc guy up here. You're going to have to take him out because I don't have anything arc on. So I don't know. This is such an exciting aspect, and I have really zero other actual information on it. All I have is what I've wanted to, explore. Jez, what do you make of this locked loadouts?
I mean, it probably would have been a much bigger deal if we had these customizable loadouts that we do in Destiny 1, where it's this or that. You pretty much have your loadout that you want anyways, because one is very much, hey, this is for PvE. Like, this one creates super orbs and does bonus damage on headshots. This one shoots guardians really well. I wonder which one is for which thing.
Right. That's a good point. Sharks, what do you make of locked loadouts?
I like it. I think it's great. I think anything to change up the way people play is awesome. I think it would be amazing if they would do it in PvP, and I would love to go into PvP, random maps, and have Agrios on my fire team just to hear him swear every time we went into a new map and he didn't have the setup that he wanted. Yes, I want to see it. I'd love it.
I didn't even think about that. Like, you're locked in when you enter the map and you don't know where you're going next. And this is a long corridor map, and you're going to want to have long distance.
Now,
weapons.
Announcing what map is next been a huge request by the community. Do you think that's going to be a feature in Destiny 2, knowing what map is coming up next as your match loads out?
Interesting.
I think so.
If Bungie is smart, they'll do the World of Warcraft route, where at the start of every dungeon, it has little dungeon preparation and it lets you switch until that timer runs out, and then you're locked out from changing.
Interesting. I like that. I do think Bungie is smart, and so I could definitely see them working that into their Gray. What do you make of locked loadouts?
I'm intrigued by it. I think that it doesn't bother me to think about it. I actually don't like changing my setup, and it almost breaks it down for me from an experience when I can log into Destiny Item Manager and just pull whatever weapon I want at any given time at any moment. It kind of like breaks down the illusion of here you're a guardian in a battle, and I'm gonna have my ghost deliver my 1,000-yard stare from my ship, from my vault at the tower to my ship to me, and I'm gonna have it to use right now in this encounter because I just particularly wanted to have it in this encounter. So I think that I'm actually gonna like it more because it's gonna provide more immersion in the experience of what's going on in the game and being able to pull whatever weapon you want at any given moment. I think that kind of breaks that immersion a little bit.
I totally agree. I absolutely agree, and that was exactly what I'm saying about before the mobile vault. Because before the mobile vault, Valis to Arc, when it was like an impossible nightfall to do, and you had to hide underneath those behind that area, you only had what you had, and if you wanted something different, if you needed something different, you had to hope that the other two people in your group were able to hold down the strike while you went to orbit, went back to the tower, grabbed what you needed, and came back, and then they had to revive you anyways. So it was, you definitely beforehand, before you went into this, you definitely said to yourself, well, I'm going to need this and this and this, and this is what you brought with you, and there is that cohesion, there is that immersion that you're talking about, Gray. Mobile Vault, very cool, but it does break the immersion, and I feel like it just like put an easy mode on the whole thing. So, so there we go. Agrios, your thoughts on this, and then moving on.
I don't really have any thoughts to add to the conversation. Everybody else pretty much said everything I had to say too.
Moving on.
So moving on. Tomorrow is Bungie Day.
Yes.
No, we did not invent a holiday to glorify ourselves. It's a ritual created by the community. Like all of your best traditions, we're happy to help them continue to burn bright. Come back tomorrow. We'll have some ways for you to celebrate and express yourselves. We might even have a beta code to hand out to those of you who outshine your fellow citizens. What in the world could they be talking about? No idea.
They've said things like this previously, and I think it was like an avatar. You could change your avatar to something else, or maybe it's like a set of avatars within Bungie.net, like new Destiny 2 avatars, or like Destiny 2 group wall hangers, like the wallpapers. So it's possible that it's something just like that. And you know what? I'm cool with that. That sounds great. And I'm really sad that I've been in such a broken slump recently, because there's so much that I want to do for this community, for Guardian 1 specifically, for Bungie overall. Like, I just can't wait to not be sick. Anyways, Sharks, did you have any thoughts on this?
Don't you remember the comment that Deej made back with the reveal of Rise of Iron?
What was it?
He said, later on in the summer, when we're almost at the end of... It's so hard to concentrate when you're throwing that pen up there. Almost at the end of Destiny, before we move on to the next game, basically... maybe we'll have everybody dress up in their favorite gear, in their favorite shiny gear. So I think that this comment has to do with that comment that he made way back then. And he's going to have everybody take pictures in their gear with all their ornaments and everything else, and
send it in to their Twitter or whatever. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
That seems right.
I will be available all day, just besides diaper changes. If this is something that we need to do, I'm there. So let's make that happen. Exciting though, very exciting. Bungie Day. I can't wait to see what's happening. Jez, thoughts on Bungie Day?
So that was what I was saying. There's like almost nothing in the Bungie Weekly Update about Bungie Day. That's either very suspicious or telling that there's not much going on tomorrow, except for community things.
Right, I'll go along with that.
Because the biggest Bungie Day was like, hey, here is all of the different SKUs for Destiny 1, and here is all the pre-orders, and here, I don't even know, I think we might have already had the beta dates, but they might have even told us the beta dates. But, like, there wasn't too much in this Bungie Weekly Update saying that there's going to be stuff tomorrow.
There was the 20th anniversary Bungie day where they handed out some sweet wallpapers for the Xbox 360. That was pretty sweet. Gray, your thoughts on Bungie Day?
I'm looking forward to seeing the cakes at Bungie headquarters, because it seems like every year they make up these really crazy cakes for their staff members. So as much as they say like this is a community founded and community driven day, which it very much is, they celebrate pretty good internally too. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they play on Bungie Day. I love watching Twitter, seeing them post from their company parties to celebrate that day as well.
Definitely. I want to work at Bungie just because of how they celebrate the employees. Like, just that alone, like let's take off the table working on a super sweet video game or two. And also what a great environment, so many really awesome people and doing good work. Like I'm may seem like a lazy guy, and I may be a lazy guy, but I'm really down for some good hard work. Like I really enjoy working hard on a product that I feel is going to be worth it. And with Bungie, all of the things that they've ever worked on have been something that I feel would be really great and would be worth it. Would be worth working really hard to create a really great product. And so, I don't know. I'm excited to see that too. Agrios, thoughts on Bungie Day, and then moving on.
I'm excited to see what they do. I'm not expecting anything grand. Like Jez says, it's usually something fairly simple, but it's always fun just see the celebration, the community.
Yep.
This past weekend, in fact, was a community celebration. We had Guardian Con, their fundraiser drive for St. Jude's ended up raising $1.28 million, which is just immense, like way more than most of the other drives put together, frankly, have raised. So next year they announced that Guardian Con will be held July 13th and the 14th. And this year it's going to be, or next year I should say, it's going to be at the Tampa Convention Center as opposed to the Florida State Fairgrounds. Not far away from the Florida State Fairgrounds, still in the same general area, but definitely nicer facilities and closer to the beach.
Excellent. That'll help us when we have our Guardian 1 beach house.
We had quite a few Guardian 1 members able to meet up, and we had our first ever Guardian 1 t-shirts printed.
That looks so good. Oh, man, that's fantastic.
So some of those were requested by others who were not there. The ones who didn't attend Guardian Con got a Guardian 1 logo on the back too, and those will be coming out to you guys shortly. If anybody else is interested in getting any of these shirts and whatnot, we can have more made at just about any time, and the cost will stay the same as long as 6 of you at least, or 6 shirts want to be ordered at any given point.
Very cool. Very cool. I'm looking forward to mine.
So yeah.
I believe Unilala has some leftover wristbands. Do you have any of those wristbands available, Agrios? Because I want to give away some of these during the show. A lot of really great viewers show up, and I want to show our appreciation by handing out some cool Guardian 1 merchandise that we've never had available. These wristbands look fantastic. I'm super excited to have these to give out on the show. So if you're interested, show up and let us know when we give them out, and we'll get those out to you. I think it's going to be fantastic. I want like at least 5 for myself so that I can wear it like year round until, like one of my coolest pieces of gear that I got from the Destiny release was a wristband. It was a Destiny wristband, and it just had like a little tricorn on it, and it said Destiny on it. And I wore it until the letters started coming off, and I thought, oh crap, I have to stop wearing this now because I didn't want to ruin it altogether. So I need a couple so I can ruin some. All right, moving on.
That is about all I have for news in the time that we have for now. So that sums it up for this week.
Great. Sharks, is there anything you want to talk about before we left?
Yeah. Static gun rolls.
Oh, yeah. Static gun rolls is a great topic that we will discuss next week.
I felt like we had already talked about that in a previous show. So that's new news since the last time we had a show about it?
No, that was in Guardian 1's Twitter chat that you talked about it.
No. I meant like...
I'm telling you that was in Guardian 1's Twitter chat that you talked about it. This is news that broke during Guardian Con.
Okay.
Definitely a great topic. Maybe we should open up with that next week because I definitely have my thoughts on it as well. And you know what? I'm going to do a little bit more research because I think I saw something, a discrepancy between a couple of the weapons. And if I'm right, then this could be a really exciting thing. And if I'm wrong, then this could be like a mostly exciting thing. Jez, is there anything you want to talk about before we left?
No, I'm good.
Gray, is there anything you want to talk about before we left? I think you're muted.
I am. Nope, I do not, my friend.
Excellent. Agrios, is there anything you want to talk about before we left?
Nope.
All right. Then in that case, it is time for shout outs, starting with Gray.
So my shout out this week is shared between Unilala and Agrios. They both, did just really amazing things over the last couple weeks. So Unilala took a lot of initiative in making those bands, and they turned out fantastic. And she did a great job, kind of just spreading the word, the mission of what Guardian One is. A lot of people at Guardian Con were able to get one of those wristbands and see what we stand for, because it's printed and it's going to be on their wrist. So hats off to her. She did excellent work. And then Agrios, he put together these care packages for all the Guardian 1 members who went to Guardian Con, which is also super fantastic. And what a great way to make members of our clan and our community feel just very welcomed and cared for. So I certainly appreciate that. And Agrios, you did a great job. So shout out to you.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
Absolutely. Great shout outs. Wholeheartedly behind that. 1000%. Sharks.
My shout out goes to my brother and his wife. My brother, Zeron Hill, now has a PS4 Pro, and he is buying Destiny so he can get used to the controls, and buying Destiny 2. So I will be playing with my brother in Destiny 2. Super exciting. So shout out to them for going out and one-upping me and getting a PS4 Pro.
Did you say his name was Zeron Hill?
Uh-huh.
Like that's his gamer tag?
Well, that's his tag for everything else, and it was in Twitch tonight, so I'm sure that's probably his gamer tag too.
Oh, I think I talked to him. Oh yeah, I see him right there. Yeah, he mentioned that our last podcast was not up on YouTube, and that's sad. So I told him I'd get on that. Excellent. Zeron Hill. Great. Agrios.
My shout out goes to all the awesome Guardian 1 members and that managed to attend Guardian Con. They made it the experience it is. As always, the most fun to be had at Guardian Con is the times, after the Guardian Con and hanging out with the friends more than the actual con itself. And it was great to have a lot more Guardian 1 members this year. Last year it was just me, K-Dub, and Mystic Rose, is honorary Guardian 1, so she counts, and Mark Terracotta, of course. And this year we had a whole contingent of us there. There's a big old pack of us wandering around at any given point, and it was just a much, much better experience having those family members, so to speak, there with you, and had a blast.
That's very cool. My jealousy meter, it started to tick up, but because I was so broken, it wasn't like I really could be there. It's not like I would have been, like I'm not well, I'm not healthy, and physically I'm broken. So as much as I was jealous of what was going on, I was really just thankful to not be, dying on a hotel bed somewhere while you guys were out having a good time. But it did look like a lot of fun, and next year there's going to be a lot more Guardian 1 out there. I'm definitely going to be there, unless I'm dead, so let's make that happen. Excellent. Jez, shout out.
In honor of Bungie Day tomorrow, my shout out goes to completely entirely Bungie. All of them.
That is excellent, Jez. I agree. That's a very nice shout out. All of them. Good job. Okay. My shout out this week is to a Guardian who, after Destiny launched, kind of fell off the face of the earth because Destiny was not at all what a lot of people thought it was going to be. And this Guardian is actually responsible for the image you see when you go to Guardian 1's Twitch channel or the YouTube channel or the Twitter page. So you'll notice the blue tri yin yang within the cog. That's his work. His name is Snabobo. And I recently got a hold of him and I asked him if there was any way that he could rework the logo to where I could hand out kind of a kit to people who want to brand themselves in certain ways. Like at some point here, I want to do sort of a contest where people are able to remix the logo for different things, shirts or promotional materials. And so I reached out to him, and he did an amazing job. He created this entire package, and he updated our the border to fit with Twitter's new circular image. So I will be disseminating these pieces of material very soon here. I did want to mention that what we have right now for the Twitter, for the border on all of ours, is actually from Martin from Destiny Overwatch. But Snabobo, he did an amazing job. It's also our Twitter banner right now. Fantastic graphic designer. And I just really can't thank him enough for helping us out. Like I talked to him a little bit, and he gave me some samples, and then I caught pneumonia and broke my rib, and I just stopped doing anything. And then he hit me up a couple weeks later with this whole kit. It was clear that he put a lot of thought into it. So Snabobo, thank you very much for your time and effort, and I look forward to the future. And that wraps up episode 139. We hope you, we would like to thank everyone for listening, for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you have any suggestions for topics to be discussed on the show, or have comments on something that has already been covered, please leave them in the comments below or send them to feedback@guardian1.net, and we will see you next week.